Hi guys, this is Miss Sizable again, and today we're going to do level 4, which is kind of the meat of our counting lines assignment. So the idea is that our robot is going to run across a bunch of lines of different colors, and it's going to keep track. It's going to keep track of how many green, how many red, how many blue, how many black, and then a total of the number of lines it crosses. So that's kind of the big deal for this one, is to see how it goes. So we are going to come over here to VEX VR. Well, actually, first I'm going to copy my directions, come over to VEX VR, add a note, because I hate flipping back and forth. I'm super lazy that way, as are most 8th graders. So I'm going to go ahead and make that bigger so I can read it. So the first thing is I have to set my pen down. And the reason the pen has to be down is so that when I take my screenshot, I can see a line behind my robot. It means that the robot has not done anything funky along the way. It shows that it's just been a straight drive. So using starting point D, so I'm going to go over here to the map, change to D. There we go. So my robot moved over to D. And I need to count each of the lines. So I need a total number of lines, and I also need a number of green lines, a number of red lines, a number of blue lines, and oh, I don't have any black lines in here. So I just need blue, green, and red. So that means I'm going to need a forever block, because hopefully by now you've figured out that the forever block has to be there or it never checks your if statements other than the first time it runs. So I'm going to need 3 if statements, one for each color. And notice I'm not putting them inside of each other. They are lined up inside the forever loop, but they are not inside of each other. They're options, right? So first thing I'm going to do is if it sees the green line. So I'm going to go to sensing, and there's my front eye, detects red. So I'm going to pull that, stick it in there, and change that to green. Then I want it to change my pen color to green. So pen color is under looks, set robot pen color to green, right there. And then I want to do the same thing, except I want it to be for red next. Actually, you know what? I could just duplicate this line, which is probably easier because, again, lazy. There's red, and then I need one for green. Duplicate green. So I got green, I got red, I have blue. So blue, and change to blue. And, oh, these are still set to front eye, so I gotta change them all to down eye. There we go, because I want the eye that's facing down from my robot. So that looks good, except that my robot is not moving yet. So I'm gonna come over here to drive forward. And so now I'm changing my pen colors. But what I'm not doing is counting yet. So to count, I need some variables. So I'm going to come over here to variables, and I need to make a bunch of variables. So we're going to make one for green. Okay, there's the one for green. And we'll turn it on. And now I'm going to make another variable here for blue. And turn that one on. Okay, so now I have a variable for blue, green, red, and total. And I'm now going to change the totals as I go. So I'm going to come to, first off, before I start, I have to set everything to 0. So I'm going to set blue to 0. I'm going to set green to 0. I'm going to set red to 0. And I'm going to set total to 0. So that's over here. And total. So blue, green, red, total all start at 0. Perfect. Because you have to initialize variables to make them start at a specific number. So now I can change them. So blue, I'm going to change blue by 1. I'm going to change, this one's red. So I'm going to change red by 1. And I'm going to change green by 1. And you're going to say, okay, that's, whoops, I just set green to 0. So that goes there, and this gets rid of. Change, there it goes. Change green to 1. So change it by 1 each time it crosses 1. Great, but I still have my total. So what I need to do for the total is I need to change total by 1 each time. So I'm just going to put in here to change total also by 1 each time it crosses any line of any color. And there's total. There we go. So total, 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 green, red, blue, green, red, blue. All right. So it looks like we might be kind of close. So I'm going to scooch this over here and bring up my monitor. And because I checked those boxes on my variables, you'll see they actually show up here now. So let's go ahead and run this thing and see what happens. Nothing. Why is nothing happening? Oh, because at no point did I pull drive forward. So let's go back to drivetrain, put that at the top of my forever loop, pull this over, reset again, and let's see what happens. There we go. So now I'm driving. Okay, so it's changing colors correctly, and it gets to the end, and I'm stopping. So it says that I went over 5 greens, 4 blues, 5 reds, and 14 total lines. Those don't look like 14 lines to me. I'm betting it's changing them, and then it's immediately reading them again. So I'm getting more than one read. I could do an until, but then they have to go in order. And I don't need that. So I think what I'm going to do is try a wait. And mine is not going super fast, so I could probably just do a wait of 1 second. If it was going faster, I might have to pull a wait and then change it to be a much, well, actually, you know what? Let's try making them like a half second and see if that gets me correct, because some of those lines are really close together. So let's try half a second wait on each one. So we'll show this, we'll reset it, and we'll run it again. And there I go, 1. And it does take it a second to catch up. All right, so let's see what we got. Did we run over 2 green lines? We did. Did we run over 2 blue lines? We did. But it only counted 1 red line. And yeah, oh, and there's 3 green lines. And it says I only ran over a total of 5. So it looks like 0.5 of a second is too slow. So I'll hide this and we'll have it read every, really, 5 seconds, 0.25 seconds. So if we have it read every quarter second, go. And that might be enough to get that working. So let's go ahead and show and restart. Clears everything. My other option is to slow it down. So let's see what we got. Green. Did I cover 3 green lines? I did. Did I cover 2 blue lines? Yes. Did I go over 3 red lines? 1, 2, 3. I did. And 8 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There we go. Looks like 1/4 of a second was about right. The other option is you could have left it at 1 second or at a 1/2 second, but just slowed your robot down. I just didn't see any point in slowing it down because it just takes longer that way. But notice I can now take my screenshot showing, yes, I did this part and I got my robot to go straight through. I've got my code for my screenshot and I've got my sensor and monitor window over here for my screenshot. So good luck. I hope that helped you a little bit with understanding variables.